Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to start using this Mud Masky Facial Detox Mask. This is my favorite mask for whenever I have blemishes, and also I really like to use this before I use my foundation. It really tightens my skin and I just feel like my foundation applies better afterwards. I don't use this every day, but like once in a week and sometimes twice a week. I'm going to let the mask sit for 5 minutes on my face. And when the 5 minutes are over, I'm going to remove this with cold water. And then it's time for skincare. And I like to use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. It's one of my favorite day creams and it has a natural primer. And for my foundation, I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation. So first I'm going to dot this on my face so the product is everywhere. And then I'm going to use my wet beauty blender and blend this all over the place. And I really like to use a wet beauty blender to apply this foundation, since the foundation can be a bit dry. I just feel like it blends in better when I use a wet beauty blender. Now for my concealer, I'm going to use the Tarte Cosmetics Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium. And I set this using the Pale Yellow powder by Bobbi Brown. I did this off camera because I show it in all my full face videos and I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over. To prime my eyelids, I'm going to use the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Soft Ochre. I use this all the time and I'm using a beauty blender to blend this on the eyelids. Now I'm going in with some shadow shields, and this is just to prevent any fallout and it leaves me with a very sharp effect. So the first eyeshadow that I'm going in with is by Colourpop Cosmetics and this is the shade Brady. And I'm going to use a big fluffy blending brush. This is by Morphe, the M504. And I'm going to blend this shade all over in the crease, back and forth. This is a very light shade, but I try to build it up by going back in with more and more product. So just build it up until you feel like you have enough product. And since I've used a very fluffy brush, it's easy to work with. But now I switch to a E40 to keep it more precise in the crease. Now I'm going in with Colourpop Paradox eyeshadow. And this is also going in my crease, but I turn my brush into a more flat blending brush. This one is by Sigma. And as you can see, it looks quite harsh in the outer V. The Colourpop eyeshadows are a total different texture than I have ever tried before. They are not like other eyeshadows. These are way more creamy and buttery. So I found them hard to blend in my crease. So now I'm going in with Brady eyeshadow again because I wanted to smooth out the red eyeshadow that I just applied because I just felt like it looked very harsh. So whenever I apply a eyeshadow in my crease and it doesn't look well blended out, I'm just going back in with the first shade I used. So now that it is blended out, I'm going back in with the Paradox eyeshadow, and once again I'm going to blend this in my crease, and I'm starting in the outer V because I want the most pigmentation in the outer V. So I'm first packing this on and then I'm going back and forth with my brush towards the whole crease. But first, just to keep it safe, I stay with my brush more in the outer V. So I found it hard to work with these eyeshadows since they're so buttery and creamy, so totally different than all the eyeshadows I normally use. So if you have any tips for me, like how you use the matte shades from Colourpop, then please let me know. Maybe it's the brushes that I use, or I don't know, but I will really appreciate it if you let me know how you work with these eyeshadows. So now I'm going in with some concealer and I'm going to apply this on the eyelids. So I used a Sigma cut crease brush, but I didn't really like it, to be honest. It's very big. So I switched my brush into a very precise one and I'm going to create a half cut crease. So if you're used to watching my videos, you know how I do this. I show it in all my cut crease videos. But today I'm not going all the way to the end of my crease. I am going a little bit further than the middle part of my crease. And the concealer that I'm using is by MAC Cosmetics. It's the Pro Longwear Concealer. And I use it in the lightest shade, which is the NC15. So once I'm done, I'm going in with this pretty Colourpop eyeshadow. And it's called the Valley Girl. And I love this shade. It's very pigmented and I think it's perfect for the inner corner of the eye because it really gives you that halo pop, which I think we all want. And I think especially for photographs, I think it will look really pretty. And if you make your brush wet, it will look even more intense, which I really like. So now I'm going in with the Colourpop Sequin eyeshadow. So pretty. It's like a bronzy eyeshadow shade, but with a sort of pinky undertone, so like more of a rose gold shade. It's really pretty and I'm sure a lot of you will like this shade a lot. I've used it a few times for when I was in a hurry and it's really nice. So now I'm going to use the KathleenLights eyeshadow, also by Colourpop. All the shadows that I'm using are by Colourpop, if you haven't noticed yet. And I'm using my MAC 242 brush and I'm going to press this sort of in the middle part on top of the Sequin eyeshadow and also towards the outer V of my eyelids. So now to blend out the eyeshadows in my outer V, I'm going back in with the Colourpop Paradox eyeshadow. And I'm using a Morphe M506 brush. This is a very tiny blending brush. I'm just going to blend this in the outer V towards the eyeshadows on the eyelids to make everything melt together. And now I switch my brush into a more bigger, flat, fluffy blending brush. And I'm going all around the edges. So now I'm going to use some glitter, and this is Reflex Copper Glitter by MAC Cosmetics. So freaking gorgeous. And I'm going to apply this using a MAC Mixing Medium. I wanted to say MAC Mixing Medium gel, but no, this is just the MAC Mixing Medium. MAC also sells a Mixing Medium gel, but that is a sort of texture with alcohol in it, so it will burn on the eyelids. So I will recommend to just buy the MAC Mixing Medium. So I made it stick using this product, and I'm going to press this on the eyelid using my MAC 242 brush again, which is my favorite brush for applying product on the eyelid. So now I'm going to remove the shadow shield because I'm done with applying eyeshadows. You can see it leaves me with a very sharp line. For my eyeliner, I'm going to use the Sigma Wicked Gel Eyeliner, and since the shadow shield leaves me with a very sharp line, it comes in really handy because I can use this as a sort of guideline so I know where to place my cat wing. So if you have troubles with creating a very sharp cat wing or just in general, I think this comes in very handy. So on top of the Sigma Wicked Gel Eyeliner, I went in with the NYC Liquid Liner to make it a bit more black. So now for the lower lash line, I'm going back in with the Paradox eyeshadow, and I'm going to use my Sigma Flat Diviner brush to press this right underneath the lower lash line. This is my favorite brush for applying eyeshadows underneath the eyes because it will keep it very precise since it's a flat brush and very thin, so you will not go too low using this brush. So now I'm going to use a short shader brush, also by Sigma, and I'm going to blend this back and forth to smudge it out a little bit. So now I'm going back in with the Brady eyeshadow, and I'm going in with this very tiny fluffy blending brush, and I'm going back and forth to smudge it all out. So now I'm going to use the Valley Girl eyeshadow for my inner corners. Like I said, this shade is so gorgeous and it will give you that blinding effect in the inner corner, which I really like. So now I'm done with the eyes and I applied some fake eyelashes, and the style that I'm using is from my own lash company, Anytude, and this is the style Impishly. It's a very natural style, and now you can see how they look on the eyes. So now it's time to get back to the face, and I'm going in with the Jouar Suntan Bronzer. My current favorite bronzer. I have been using this in my previous videos and I still really like it. It has a sort of cool undertone and it just suits my complexion really well. I don't really like it when a bronzer is very orange. So now to highlight my face, I'm going in with the Ultimate Glow Kit by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I used all the shades on this highlight brush, also by Anastasia. I just wanted a sort of bronzy glow instead of a golden. So I just decided to mix all the shades and it left me with a really nice shade. So now I'm going in with the Sigma Beauty Serene Powder Blush. First time trying out this shade, but I really liked how it looked on me. I feel like it's a sort of warm shade instead of a very fresh color, but I felt like it suited really well with the eye colors. So for my lips, I'm going first in with a lip liner by Colourpop, and this is in the shade BFF. It's a very gorgeous nude lip pencil with a brown undertone. So I'm going to apply this around my lip lines, and at the upper lips I always overdraw them slightly. So on top of this, I'm going in with a Colourpop product again, and this is one of their lippy sticks. It's a matte one and the shade is She Bad. A very pretty nude shade with a pinky undertone. It reminds me of MAC Mid Lipstick. So yes, this is already the end of the tutorial. I really hope you enjoy watching. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you would like to see more. This would be really helpful. And don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys!